In this episode, we talked with Todd Olson. We discussed his early exposure to performing, decision-making while acting, his work on the La Crosse Community Theater's Miracle on 34th Street radio show, and how his professional work transfers to storytelling. You can find more conversations on our website, lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is La Crosse Local.
Todd Olson is the name. Born in River Falls, Wisconsin. But never lived there, but that's where my mother decided to give birth. I don't know what the story is behind that. I'd rather not, I guess. But how I got started in performing, I don't really know. My grandfather was always a funny guy and liked joking with us. And I think I kind of became one of those people in the family that made other people laugh. And then, lo and behold, in fourth grade, my music teacher decided that she would cast me as lead in Cat in the Hat, which required an 8-year-old kid to dress in a black leotard looking like a cat in front of the whole school, which is why I no longer have any shame. It's one of those things. It was a good lesson.
That's awesome. So coming up, you have Miracle on 34th Street at the La Crosse Community Theater.
Yeah.
How do you go about preparing for a role in general, I guess?
I guess I'm a little bit different than a lot of people. There's a lot of times where people put a lot of research into it. I don't. I came from the world of improv, so I kind of get a backstory on the story in general and maybe a little bit about my character. But then I try to work with the cast and see where they're going on things and what their takes are on the character. And then I start having it evolve from there. The position that I have is Kris Kringle, but there's a lot of questions about the character that I still haven't answered. And I don't know if I will. Is he really Santa Claus? Is he neurotic or mentally ill and he thinks he's Santa Claus, but he's not? Is he just a dyed and old cynic? Is he Kris Kringle actually coming back and he doesn't believe in himself? Existential crisis, so to speak. Those are all things that I look at after a while because I start seeing how some of the cast responds to the lines and how they inhabit their own characters.
This is played on the radio. This is something that's been going on for a number of years. Is it any way that you prepare specifically for radio?
Yeah, there is, in terms of you've got to place so much more emphasis on the voice that you choose. You can't get by with physical reactions to things. And even the reactions to your cast members, it's got to be all played through your vocalization. The tonality, the intonation are all important, but choosing the voice too is a constant experiment. And the director, she has been fantastic because she's really been I shouldn't say more, but she's been a great actor's director in that she hasn't really given us a lot of coaching. She'll say, well, this scene needs to go this way, but she has left character shaping totally to the actors, which is really interesting, is really fun.
It sounds like a really collaborative approach. We've talked to the Foley artist too, the person that makes the sounds while you're doing this. Is there any time where you feel like you're acting and you just shrug because you're acting, but you don't actually verbalize it?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, there's great opportunities that get created when somebody, I hate to say oversteps, but maybe somebody might have a little bit too much emphasis on a particular line that takes you in a whole different direction. Last night, Maria Higgins, who plays the mother and is a doubter, put the emphasis on Santa Claus differently, but it made her character totally doubt Santa Claus. She couldn't even pronounce the name correctly. So it gave it an air of dismissal, like, oh, this is not real. But she didn't have to say it wasn't real. Just by mispronouncing that word so casually, it said so much about her character and her mindset. And those are the kind of things that all of a sudden, when it crops up as an actor, you go, oh, wow, let's see where I can turn with that. Let's see where I can go. So it is a very collaborative situation. It's a great cast to work with.
You have some other skills in your professional life. You work in video and production. Do these skills kind of work with you to kind of help tell this story when you're acting?
Yeah, they really, really do. In terms of video is nothing more than a different type of storytelling. And I know that's kind of an overused trope, but what I love is when I'm doing production, a lot of times I can see pieces that I didn't pay attention to before, or that might now fit in differently in a different type of context to give a scene a whole new type of nuance or a whole new type of meaning. And that comes from being on the stage and working around people and training yourself to listen and to pay attention and to take advantage of new ideas as they present themselves. It's been great. There's been plenty of projects where, you can get several different projects or several different snippets out of a single video shoot, because just by changing your perspective a little bit on it, it can give you a whole new material.
If people want to find out more about the Miracle on 34th Street, how to watch it or how to listen, where's the best avenue for them to look at?
Well, in this COVID-laced world, probably the World Wide Web at lacrossecommunitytheater.org. You can sign on there and you can find out the information. The great thing is that, it is a radio program, so there aren't any tickets. Anybody can listen to it. Anybody can enjoy it at that point.
Lacrosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you would like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at Lacrosse Locals. Subscribe to the Lacrosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We thank you for it.